infinity.
Fuck you, nigga. I'm about to lasso.
We are going to do a little editing breakdown here of our footage from the rap battle last night. So I'm going to take this clip between Yazoon and Sub-Z, and you'll see it's very flat looking. Not a lot of contrast or saturation. We film like that on purpose so that we have the most lineage, the most range to play with stuff in post, and get it exactly the way we're looking at it, or exactly the way we want to see it. So right now we're looking at the footage that I shot, the A-cam, the master shot. We're looking at Yazoon doing his thing in C-Log 2, C-Log 3. It's a very flat image. So what we could do, now first thing we have to do is get it to Rec 709, which is a fancy way basically of just saying, getting it to look normal, look like how it looked when we saw it. And then we color grade it after that and give it that little RedBeard look, that special sauce. So there's a couple ways we could get started. One thing we could do is we'll go into here, camera LUT. They have one for Canon Log C Cinema Gamut. You could apply that, but I almost never like it. Yeah, it's too magenta and stuff. I'm going to bring it to Rec 709 by myself instead of doing that. So we're going to do that by starting with our exposure. First, we want to find a frame that is, pretty good. This, we have Yazoon in the shot. We have our people in the background here. So we want to bring the shadows down, bring the black level down to 0. You see this histogram over here that shows how bright everything in the frame is. When we get down to 0, we don't want to get below that or it'll just crush all the detail. We'll lose all that. So I'm raising the midtones a little bit and the highlights a little bit. Now I'm going to drop the shadows back down. We want it to have a little bit of a dark, almost gritty kind of look. Mute that. Now you see when he goes in front of the lights, we have more contrast than when he goes out and lets them lets them show. Then we get this clipping on the histogram there is that light, and that's okay if that's clipped. We don't need all that detail, obviously. But we want to make sure that it looks okay in both ways. We're getting a cool flare there. I like that. Back to the contrast version and back to the more light and airy version. I like that. That's pretty good. I'm going to call that Rec 709. Now we need to put a LUT on there. So let's find a good frame here. It's not too much motion blur on it. And let's find one that's contrastier. Dogs, come on. Laney. There we go. So we've got it to Rec 709. Now what I'm going to do is add a LUT. Got some custom LUTs. that I use. Boom, love it. Kind of pushes the blues towards teal, pushes the reds towards orange, adds a little blue in the shadows, a little orange in the highlights, adds some contrast. So now, see, it's looking good now. It's looking more like a Kevin Douglas, Captain RedBeard production, as opposed to just looking kind of normal. You know, that's fine. We'd add a little saturation or something. But, you know, this is better. It's more stylized, sure, but, you know, this is what we like. So the next thing I need to do is make sure these skin tones are correct. So I need to find some skin, a good face shot. Let's go for a more contrasty. Right there's fine. I'm going to isolate his face with a shape mask or a draw mask. And just grab his skin. And it doesn't matter what race you are, your skin is always some shade of orange. You see this line here on this is my color wheel. We have red, yellow, green, cyan, blue, magenta. This line here is called the blood line, and your skin tone should fall on that line no matter what race you are. They're leaning a little yellow right now. So what we're going to do is open up our hue saturation curves adjustment. We're going to hue versus hue, isolate that skin tone, and push it towards red. Too much, back down. We're going to get, you see where it is on that wheel and how it's changing that skin tone there? What we're doing is we're pushing that skin tone, that orange color, onto that line. We want to get it right about, probably right about there. I don't know. Right about there, I'm thinking. Now we turn our draw mask off, and that's the difference right there. Boom. We're in business. Versus that. So, not a huge difference, but it does matter. Now we can delete that draw mask. We don't need it. We're there. It's just when you're shooting in low light, you do end up with some noise. We're going to pop a little bit of noise reduction on there. Actually, we're going to set it to low, and the sharpness just to very low, just enough to make up for any smoothing that noise reduction does. And I'd say that is just pretty much color graded right there. That's finished footage. So we got our A-cam ready now. A-cam footage of this battle, this round, is ready. So next, I've already got it done and exported and everything. It's uploading to Google Drive to share with the editor now. I'm just redoing it to show you. I've actually got them saved as a preset that I could just slap on there. So this is that same battle, but the B-cam footage. Let me show you my little preset here. What did I call it? WADR Battle 2. Battle was my footage. This is the B-cam footage. Pop that on there, and we're matching that A-cam footage already. And this will be what, we cut in between this and the other footage. But I'll show you how to get there again, because they are shot with 2 different cameras. And the color grading process is different. This is with a Sony, shot in S-Log 2, and mine was with a Canon, shot in C-Log 3. So they're both log profiles, give you this flat image that, with a lot of latitude to work with. I said lineage earlier. I think I was just thinking about the battler, the rapper. Had it on my mind a bit. Okay, so we're gonna call this our quote-unquote our hero shot or whatever. Good one to play with when we color grade. We're gonna have to scale it up because his shot in a slightly different aspect ratio than mine. You can see it's not quite as wide. So we're gonna scale that up to 108% to fill that out. Now, bring it to Rec 709. Bring the shadows down to black, down to 0. Bring up the highlights. There's a message on my phone. Boom, boom, boom. There's another message on my phone. People just know when I'm doing something. Okay, so put custom mode on there. We've got it color corrected. Now we're color grading it. Got a lot of them in here. There we go. Now we're going to do the skin thing. Make sure the skin tones are right. So we're going to put a mask on there. There we go. Got Yazun isolated. We see his skin tones are pretty much right on. They're just pushing a little red. So we're going to go into our hue saturation curves. Select it. Here it is. Pull it down towards yellow just a little, not that much. Just a hair. Right about. Let's say like right there maybe. So not a big difference, but it matters. Turn off the mask. There's the difference. Delete the mask. And you can see this image is noisier. That grain, that's noise, we call that. Happens in low light and shadows a lot. So we're going to throw that noise reduction on now, like we did before. If I spell it right. Noise reduction. And this one probably is going to need more than we did on the other camera. Say medium or high. We'll keep the sharpening down. I usually like to put it one step below what I keep the what I put the noise reduction at. So we'll see how that looks. Let's turn the sharpening to low. And that looks pretty good. It's pretty much, I might consider doing something like that. So that's B-cam footage, color graded, ready to go. Now, let me do a little lighting breakdown for you here. As you can see, let me put our LED on there. Boom. So, as you can see, we got lights in the background here. One on each side, pointing towards the battlers. There's one on the screen right. And there's, you can see on the screen left there, that one popping in and out. There it is. So, very hard directional light source. These are 100-watt daylight balanced COB LEDs with barn doors on them, and reflectors, and some CTB, which is blue gel on each one to give it a very hard, punchy, cool backlight. And then behind me, behind the camera, I have a 200-watt bicolor LED with a reflector on it, bounced up at the ceiling, coming down to give us a softer look. And it's not daylight balanced like this is a very cool look and a very hard light, very cool hard light in the back. I was going for a warm, soft look in the front. So this light is set to 2700. It's bouncing off the ceiling to soften it up, to diffuse it. The bigger your light source is, the softer the light is. And if you're bouncing it off the ceiling, then basically the whole ceiling becomes your new light source instead of this tiny little circle. So we have, on the camera side, Upstage Lighting is a soft, warm, basically orange light. It's set to 2700 Kelvin. And the backlight is a hard, punchy, bluish light. Orange and blue, orange and teal. We got, opposites on the color wheel, like here and here. We get the most color contrast possible. The hard, punchy backlight gives us a nice edge light, a nice rim on these guys. You'll notice, like, look here at his beard. He's got a nice, right here, nice halo kind of outline, this rim light going around him. And then also you see around his face here, the cool light and the highlights from the back, from the other light too, along with this warm, soft light on this side, but you see that just hints of the cool light. And it's giving us a nice outlining our subjects real nicely, so even if the focus pops in and out, your eye always stays on them, the subjects. And by mixing color temperatures, we add some contrast, some color contrast. And by mixing hard and soft light, I do that just for visual interest. People usually look more flattering in soft light, but hard light is grittier, and this is kind of a gritty situation. So I wanted some punchy, some grittiness to it, but also, I don't want... Hard light will show off all your pores and wrinkles and stuff. We don't need all that. So some soft light on this side, and I would definitely call the backlight my key. That was my idea, is Upstage key. I could even have gone without the warm light, the fill light, just even threw it in the background and set it to a cool temperature, threw a blue gel on it, and used 3 lights in the background like I did for the first battle that we held at this place, which was 2 battles ago. And instead, I did this to add a little bit of fill light on this side, so it's not quite as contrasty. We want some contrast. We want it to be darker, grittier. I love it. It worked out great. So that is pre-production, the lighting stuff, going over that planning. That is something a DP does, and that explained why I did what I did, and what I did. And then a little glimpse into what I do in the post-production side of things. So pretty much anything that has to do with the look of the video, of the movie, is my job. I'm the DP. I control the lighting in pre-production and the color grade in post-production. So there it is. I think I've covered all the basics. So, you know, I don't remember the whole "with all due respect" slogan, but I know how it ends. So, you know, if you don't like it, with all due respect, fuck you. And we're out. But
Fuck you, nigga. I'm about to lasso.
Arr, matey.